Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. In today's video we will be looking at another alternate country. Today's country is going to be Arabia, because Mohammed Ahmed suggested it. Thank you very much. They would own Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Yemen and Oman. Their flag would look like this, a mixture of all the flags. But how would they be able to form? During the Gulf War, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait fought on the same side against Iraq. So when Saudi Arabia liberated Kuwait from Iraq's hands, they could have proposed to Kuwait to join them. If Kuwait said yes, they would have formed the country together. This would be the first step of unifying the Arab Peninsula. Some years later, the Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf decided to try a closer union. They thought that if the countries joined each other to form a central government, they would have a better economy. Each country would still have a great autonomy, but the central government would take care of foreign affairs. The only country left for Arabia to control is Yemen. Yemen is an unstable country with many revolutions and civil wars. So when the Yemeni civil war started 2014, Arabia would intervene and take over Yemen. It would probably be very hard to take over, but it would be worth it. They would have a population of 87 million persons. This places them on the 17th place before Iran and after Democratic Republic of Congo. Some big cities are Riyadh, Jeddah, Dubai, Muscat and Sana'a. Riyadh would be the capital because it's the biggest city in the biggest country of Arabia. They would have a huge GDP of 1,382,000 million US dollars. This makes them the 12th biggest economy in the world, before Russia and after South Korea. Their biggest export is of course oil. They produce around 19 million barrels of oil per day. This is nearly 2 times as much as the USA. A big part of the country's export earning would be from oil, and they would have a great control over the market. They would control half of the entrance to the Black Sea and half of the entrance to the Persian Gulf. They would also control the entrance to the Gulf of Aqaba, which is kind of important for Israel. They would have a kind of a big tourism sector because a lot of Muslims want to go to the Mecca because of the Kaaba. Many tourists also want to go and see Dubai and Abu Dhabi because they have some of the coolest skyscrapers. 2019, 42.6 million tourists came to Arabia, but after COVID-19 this would be much higher because if Arabia existed, tourists would be able to go to Yemen as well. With all this money, they would have a lot to spend on the military, so how big would their military be? They would have an available manpower of 22 million peoples. They would have 15,000 armored fighting vehicles and 1,800 tanks. Most of them would be M1 Abrams from the USA. They would have a big air force of 1,300 planes, but some are just training aircrafts. The military and air force are important for the country because Saudi and Iranian relationships are not good. So they would have an arms race. But if you watch on a map, you see that there is a sea between them. So to protect themselves from Iranian invasion, they would need a strong navy. They have 0 aircraft carriers and also 0 helicopter carriers, but these are not so important because air bases are very close to the sea they need to protect. They have 0 submarines and 0 destroyers. This is not so good. But they have 8 frigates and 20 corvettes. They have many offshore patrol vessels, so many as 296. Patrol vessels are important to defend important waterways such as shipping lanes. But what would this new power mean for the world? For the people living in Yemen it would be good, because even though they would be attacked in the first place, after the war they would have peace and no longer as many civil wars. With peace in Yemen, they would also be able to produce much more oil. This is good for the economy but not for the climate. Iran and Arabia would not be friends and they would probably start an arms race, but because Arabia has a much higher GDP, they would be able to spend more money on the military than Iran. Arabia would also get support from the USA because of their oil and because the US and Iran hate each other too. This would make Arabia the regional superpower of the Middle East. It is possible that other countries would join Arabia too, such as Jordan. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next week.